Good afternoon. Actually, it's good evening. Welcome to my channel. I do apologize. Today is the 5th of July, 2022. We had a glorious July 4th. I do apologize because it seems like in 37 degrees centigrade, I seem to have picked up a cold. No, I'm not kidding. So how are you doing today? I am hoping my voice will hold up. We are working on a new canvas of the fairy tale, the baking fairy. I don't know what to name her. Write down in the comment section what name shall we give to her. It doesn't have a name. As I said, I apologize for my terrible voice. I will try to speak a little bit lower, and maybe that way I can hang on to my voice longer. The traffic is unbelievable. Let me tell you, I have been so busy. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Tomorrow I have an appointment at the hairdresser at 8 o'clock in the morning. I will have my hair trimmed a little bit shorter for the very simple reason that we're going to have a great big ceremony. Of course, I dump the drills. I mean, it wouldn't be me if I don't dump it. We're going to have a great big ceremony on Monday, and I could not get a hairdresser's appointment for Friday or Saturday. So Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, my wonderful husband will become a Hungarian citizen. He will pick up his second citizenship. So just like I have two citizenships, my husband will have two citizenships. And they will have the newspaper, the television, TV. The ceremony will be at our village. The village mayor and justice of peace and all the officials will give him his official Hungarian papers. And he will be featured on the local television, newspaper, and the officer from the capital, Budapest, will come to our village to hand him his Hungarian ID card. And after that, now this will be at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then after that, we are going to go out to a celebration lunch at the local in the village. My voice is definitely going. Where we had our wedding dinner. So it is a really big to-do. And basically, I will get my hair done tomorrow. And then probably what will happen is I will go to the hairdresser on Monday morning before we leave for the village to have it, styled again, because I don't know how to dry it the same way. I'm used to having long hair, and my hair seems to curl up on the bottom, and I would like it to look straight. Although I did get one of those iron things, what do you call them? I got a Baby Bliss, if you're familiar with those, because I don't have that much hair. It was down to my sit down, and now it's to just below my shoulders. So I want to have it trimmed about 1 centimeters, and then we will see. But the thing is, the shorter it gets, the curlier it gets. The baby has the same wavy hair, although it's been finally cut. I mean, he is a little boy, even though, we want to be woke and we want to be gender fluid or whatever the hell it's called. However, he is a boy, 100%, and he likes being a boy. Although he does have a little doll stroller with a crochet doll that I made, and a teddy bear and bunny rabbit, and he packs it in there and he pushes the little stroller around. I figured, well, when he's going to be a daddy, he's going to be pushing a real stroller around. So it's okay. He chose that toy, and I see nothing wrong with it. He tied up his bigger cars and dump truck and what have you, and he attached it to the handle of the doll stroller. So he takes, his crocheted amigurumi dolls and his teddy bear and, the rabbit and all the rest, etc., 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 and his collection of vehicles. So, can you imagine? I didn't take a video of that because, I respect the child's privacy. Anyway, he looks so cute. I told you we were at the pool all weekend. It was sizzling hot. And there was a little girl about the same age as Lavender. Well, her mommy took her into the swimming pool where the older children up to the age of 18 learn to swim. And this is a practice swimming pool, The children in this city take regular swimming lessons. It is required, and this can replace some of the physical education classes. So anyway, the mommy took the little girl into the same pool. Now, I remember when, hubby took Lavender into the same pool, and he didn't want to come out of there. He didn't want to go in a baby pool. Well, the same thing happened with this little girl. And our Lavender was already in the baby pool, splashing around, playing with the little ball and playing with the other little children. It's a new experience for him because, he was under lockdown and what have you. So he's now getting acquainted with the other children. And of course, it's going to go to school in September. So anyway, this little girl threw a hissy fit you would not believe. I just sat there and smiled. I go, yep. Ours did the same thing. He didn't want to come out of the children's pool and go in the baby pool. He wanted to stay in the big pool. Now the big pool, the water comes up to my waist. And next to it is a cement bar like where the older children can jump into the pool, when they're studying to jump in the pool and swim and things like that. Well, the baby decided to sit over there and throw a hissy fit some more, at which time Levante climbed up there. This separates the baby splash pool and the children's pool. So Levante sat down next to the little girl, and he was going like, no, 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 no. And I looked at him, I go, yeah, do you see yourself? This is the same thing you did. You threw a hissy fit, except for Levante. He went on for half an hour. I mean, he wouldn't quit. The little girl looked at Levante and decided that it would be more fun to push him into the baby pool. Levante did not appreciate that. So, let me tell you, the child learned how to talk. He looked at the little girl and said, are you ready? You little shit. I'm like, he speaks English? He doesn't know English. He speaks Hungarian. No, he doesn't. He speaks English. I go, oh my goodness. I'm telling my husband, I said, we got to watch what we say in front of this kid. He knows English. And my husband goes, no, he doesn't. I go, did you hear what he just said? He called the little girl a little S-I-G-S-H-I-T. Well, you know how to spell it, And I'm like, where did he hear that? And my husband looks at me innocently like, well, I wonder who keeps on saying that. And I'm like, I never. Well, we were so worried that the child is not talking. Well, let me tell you, the child knows how to talk. If he wants to. It has come as a revelation to me that the child does know how to talk. Well, I was going to the doctor. She looks at me like, these mothers, they're driving me crazy. There's nothing wrong with your son. I go, he's not talking. And she looks at me like, what would you like him to do? Recite Shakespeare? He's 2 years old. I go, he is not talking. Well, now I can go back and tell the doctor, I take it back. The kid talks. The kid swears. I mean, I was trying to look very strict and disapproving at what he said, but it was so funny. You couldn't help. He looked so cute. And the little girl shut up. She stopped screaming. I'm like, oh, wow. So I sort of relaxed a little bit as far as my worrying over the child's lack of vocabulary. Oh, this is exactly what I was afraid of, that I am not sure what language he's going to open his mouth in. Now the school will be English and Hungarian school. This is a law in this country that at age 3 they start, we don't have kindergarten here. They start school, but for the very simple reason that most mothers work. Maternity leave is for 3 years, it is paid maternity leave. And the child has to be, looked after. It would cost too much to hire a private nanny or babysitter. I have a mommy's helper, but she is more like a family member. She is on call as needed. When I get a call, and she gets a call that the child needs to be looked after. So anyway, the school is from 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30, depends on when mother goes to work. Officially from 8 until 4. They get 3 meals in school. He gets breakfast at home and he gets supper at home. In Hungary, they have 5 meals. After breakfast at 10 o'clock comes the 10 o'clock snack. Between 12 and 1 o'clock comes a main meal of the day, which is minimally a 2-course meal. Usually soup and a second. And at 4 o'clock, they have the afternoon tea or afternoon snack. And at 8 o'clock, the child gets supper. Many a times it is left over from noon. While I'm at home, of course, I cook, and I cook from scratch. Usually I spend about 3 hours in the morning cooking. So that will be his schedule. After the main meal, they have a 2-hour rest. The smaller children sleep because they are used to sleeping after the noon meal. The older children are allowed to look at picture books or just lay quietly. And the ones that are ready to go to school, they don't have to take a nap. They're allowed to go in a different room where story time will be with the nursery school teacher. So they have teachers in the nursery school and they have nannies. Because some of the children at the first, they need help with feeding and dressing, and because you have to change your outdoor clothes into indoor clothes. Now they are allowed to take their own toys, but the toy must be brand new in the original wrapping. Now this is to prevent from taking any germs or whatever from the home into the nursery school, because these young children usually get sick. They have colds and sniffles and sore throats and what have you until their system gets used to being active in the nursery school environment. And then they get adjusted and then they're fine. But at first they catch everything that's going around. And now, the unfortunate thing, if the mother is working already, then she has to take a day off from work. Of course, she gets a doctor's certificate that she must stay home with her child who is ill, but they don't like that in the workplace, of course, because it interrupts the schedule of the work. There is a discrimination of hiring mothers with small children for this specific reason that everybody knows that unless they have, grandmother or something available to stay with the sick child, the mother will be missing a lot of work at first. Because, if you have a rather young grandmother, they are still working. So they cannot stay home with the child. If possible, then the parents will take turns staying home with the child, but usually it is a mother. And like I said, she does get a doctor's note, which will certify that she is home because of doctor's orders, and therefore must be paid for the days she is missing from work. Now, if she does not have the doctor's certificate stating that it was the doctor's orders that she stayed home with the child, and then she will not get paid, and it's like she skipped work without giving due process or due cause for why she stayed out of work. It's just like, if you miss school, you need a doctor's note to go back. I know it sounds a little strange, but this is the way they do things here. Anyway, we enjoyed finally being able to use these pools. So far, 4 pools are open. 2 are still closed, and the private indoor mineral spring, hot spring spa is still closed, which I'm sorry to hear, because these pools will only be open for the summer season. They will close in September, but the indoor pools were open all year round. And they had a wellness section, with cosmetics and hairdresser and massage and dentistry and everything. And they have apartments over there. So now it's been closed for 3 years. I mean, if they do get a new owner, just fact that these hot spring spas were not used, there's a lot of damage to the pipes. This is very hot water that comes up in those pipes. And all the pools are mixed with regular cold drinking water, chlorinated. The temperature of the pool is determined by the doctors, because the doctor will give you a prescription as to how often you must go to the hot spring pool, how long you must stay in the water at each time and then taking a rest, and what temperature the pool should be. And the nurse and the lifeguard comes around every half hour to check on the temperature of the water, and of course to do the regular testing of the water to make sure that there isn't a overproduction of unwanted, bacteria or virus or what have you, and to make sure that the chemical makeup of the water meets the very strict standards to be a to have a healing effect for people with arthritis, like I have, people with major surgery. The fact that you're able to do more movements in the water, and they have exercises 3 times a week, that I am signed up for also, for your spine. There's not much you can do with your spine. What you are doing is strengthening the muscles that support the spine, therefore reducing the pain, and the makeup of the water reduces inflammation. So it is a preventive measure after major surgery. Of course, after you are healed and you are given the get-go from the doctor. And it will tell you how much time. Usually it's 20 minutes, and then you have to get out and rest for an hour, and then you can go back again for 20 minutes and get out and rest. Drink water in the meantime, and then you can go in again. Usually it takes about 3 sections for 1 day, and in order for it to be effective, it is recommended that you do it for 3 weeks. So you go out, every day or every other day. Now the exercises are put every other day because some of the older people, their their condition is not strong enough to handle this strong mineral water every day. So the exercises is every other day. Well, it's a 5-kilometer hike one way. And then you do your exercise, you shower, you rest, you drink water, and then you hike back home. So every other day is sufficient, believe me. But it does work. And if you reduce inflammation and the pain, you get to reduce the pain pills, because there's really not much that they can do about it. Contrary to popular belief, my body has not exactly been reduced, free of stress and pampered or anything else of that matter. So it went through a lot of use, which results in your joints, being overused. So it's not good to sit around and do nothing, but it's not good either to push it to the extent where you have damage to your joints. Of course, with age comes natural wear and tear, but the kind of job I do is very hard on the joints. So for this specific reason, that I turn to everything available to ensure that I can keep my mobility. And this is one of the ways, is Actually, one of the ways is to keep moving even if it hurts. But of course, and I understand because I have it also, sometimes it hurts so bad that you simply can't move anymore. So this is a great blessing when you have these hot spring spas and you are able to take advantage of them. Now, if the doctor prescribes it for you, then it is for free. If he doesn't prescribe it, then you have to pay a rather high entrance fee. Of course, for the children it's less than for the adults, and for senior citizens there's also a lower rate of entrance fee. But like I said, if you hold up the doctor's prescription for the spa, then it is covered by your health insurance. This is how seriously they take it in this country, because it has been proven clinically with many, many tests. And these spas have been around for centuries, and it has been proven to have a positive effect as far as healing and being able to help even mobilize a patient who has already become, let's say, in a wheelchair. There's a special harness by which these patients can be lowered into the water, and then the physiotherapist does certain exercises to help the blood circulation and things like that for people that are already wheelchair disabled to whatever degree they are disabled. Of course, the exercises are prescribed by the doctor. They are also told for how long amount of time they are allowed to stay in the water. The water is usually 37, 38, 39 degrees centigrade. This is the usual temperature of the water that is preferred. So my voice held up to a certain extent. I thank you for spending time with me this evening. I will see you tomorrow afternoon. Stay safe, stay healthy, be happy. Please hit the like button. I will see you next time. Bye for now. Mwah.